Time for the Saturday headlines with Elliot Friedman. And Elliot, you're busy with lots of news here, but let's get to the NC Frozen Four final just happened. Denver Pioneers win their third in 5 years. They win it by a score of 2-1 against Wisconsin. Boston Buckburger here with the winning goal. David Carl is the coach who's engineered these 3 victories over the past 5 years, has won World Juniors, and I gotta believe there's going to be a market for David Carl to coach in the NHL. Do you think?
There already is one, Ron. Last year, the Chicago Blackhawks made him a big offer, believed to be about $25 million. He turned it down, and he stayed at Denver. He can afford to call his shot. And I have no doubt that the rumors will already start again, thanks to you right here. But he can call his shot. He is a young family. He will do it, as he said, when he's ready.
Congrats to Denver. So, Michael Hage, a lot of Montreal, because you're seeing Martone doing what he's doing in Winnipeg and for the Philadelphia Flyers. Everybody, and you broke it, that Michael won't go to Montreal.
Well, there was certainly a lot of disappointed Canadiens fans. They were surprised. They wanted to hear that Hage would be the talented young prospect, will be joining the Canadiens for the remainder of this regular season. But I'm here to tell them there is no reason to panic. There is no reason. Now, they have his rights for 2 more years. There is no reason to believe Hage is unhappy with the Canadiens, and there is no reason to believe the Canadiens are unhappy with Hage and will try to trade him. They met about 2 weeks ago. They had about a 3-hour dinner. Kent Hughes pulled out the titanium card. He was there. John Sedgwick, the AGM, was there. Hage was there, and his advisors were there. And they all laid it out. They talked about all the different situations. I believe at that time the Canadiens let it be known that if they were ready for him to join pro, but they said there is no wrong decision here, and they left it up to him to make the call. And I think for Hage, there's a few things here. Number 1, increased role at Michigan next year, even more than he had this year. Number 2, unfinished business. They lost in the Frozen Four. Number 3, the possibility his brother could join the Wolverines and play there. So that was the decision he made, and I don't think there's any reason for Canadiens fans to panic. I think they just said, look, we're ready for you if you want to come, but there's no wrong decision and no animosity.
Great. Ottawa, congrats, into the playoffs today, but you've been tracking the story of Brady Tkachuk. What do you got?
Well, I think we were all watching this today because it was kind of a strange play, and we're all sitting here wondering, okay, what exactly happened with Brady Tkachuk? This happened late in the second period. He tried to come back in the third, but wasn't able to do so. It certainly was a little bit scary there. I think we'll get more clarity or an update tomorrow, Ron, but the word we're getting is that he's still getting tested, but thankfully it's not expected to be anything significant. Glad to hear that. Nobody wants to see that, and we should get more clarity tomorrow, we hope.
All right, 3 teams looking for a general manager.
Okay, so first of all, we'll start in Toronto, where there was a lot going on this week about what they might be doing or what they might not be doing. I think they're going to have a bunch of interviews next week. I do not expect this to be a short process. The Maple Leafs are determined to talk to as many people as they can and get as many opinions as they can about what they should do. What I can tell you right now is that, number 1, I think they're starting this search with the goal of one person. Now, it doesn't mean they can't morph into more, but they are starting the search with the goal of one person. And I also believe, we talked about one specific member of Florida's front office. I don't think that's the only request that's going to be made of the Panthers. I think the Maple Leafs could ask for multiple permissions to talk to people with Florida. Okay, let's go on to Nashville. We've talked about how Nashville prefers somebody who has recently been a GM or an AGM. That's kind of the way they started their search. They had some in-person visits, and this will surprise nobody. I think you can add Tom Fitzgerald, the former Devils general manager, who was the first captain of the Predators, to that list. He's either been there to Nashville for an in-person interview, or he's going in the near future. Couldn't pin it down exactly, but he is a candidate for that job and will be interviewed face-to-face if he has not been already. And finally, New Jersey, I expect theirs to begin in earnest this week with some interviews. And I think also right now in New Jersey, I don't think there's clarity yet. Are they going to be hiring one person, or are they going to be hiring 2?
Terrific. So there's a French proverb, every mile is 2 in winter. And that applies in the Western Hockey League, where travel is not easy. You've got some really interesting developments here.
So the Western Hockey League has made some very interesting decisions that they're starting to let people know about. And look, this is a different world now. You have to show players that you're willing to go the extra mile so they can develop and go to the next level, which is what all the players want. And the WHL is starting to let people know they've made 2 changes. And I think they're 2 very smart changes. First of all, they're going to extend their schedule by a week. So that will decompress things. So the same amount of games over 7 more days. It will decrease the number of games during the weekday especially, but that's one thing they're going to do, so they're going to be more focused on rest and recovery and things like that. But also what's fascinating, Ron, is they are going to allow air travel in certain situations. And basically the way it's going to go is they're going to really try to ease the burden for that one big trip each team makes over the Rockies every year. Going back and forth, they're opening it up to air travel, and that's basically what they're going to do. You have to make choices now that benefit your players, and there's your 2 big ones by the WHL, which they are trying to use to show they can make themselves an even better developmental league.
Check out the latest 32 Thoughts podcast presented by your local Toyota dealer, available wherever you find your podcasts.